Once again, we are back. Guess who's done with exams? Yeah, it's me. So, I'm officially done with exams, so shouldn't be any problems. The only thing I also will say is when June comes along, I'm going to be taking online classes, so not to worry. I shouldn't be too busy because I'm taking this course for a reason, so I don't have like extra work, which would be tiring to me. Um, but this course is online, so I'm at home all the time. This course will be from June 10th, I think, maybe, up to July, August, whenever. I can't remember the date. Um, but it's kind of not as hectic as like normal classes and all that. So just letting y'all know before I forget, because I will forget to remind y'all of that I'm going to be doing this. But that's not what this video is all about. Today's video is all about our Wattpad reviewing. Now, be warned, some of the books I haven't actually gotten the chance to read due to me reading the other books. And also that, and some books have a sequel. And so I felt like it was my responsibility to actually read the next book and then the book after that. I will say one series has almost 3 books right now. Just letting you know. I usually don't do this, but I think 2 or so of the books are not completed, and I usually don't do that, but it happens. Which one is from a sequel of one book I did a review on. I will hint out it is from Garo's Rose, which had a sequel, thanks to my favorite author, Michaelis Hearts, who told me about her sequel, which I never remembered to look at it and see. So you're welcome. But big thanks to Michaelis over here, who reminded me and showed me what the title name for the sequel is, and you're in luck. I'm also going to be doing that one. And then another one, it hasn't been completed or hasn't gotten probably that far yet. It's getting there. I'm hoping the author will complete the story. I would really, 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 really love it, because the person that is paired with the OC, I kind of also have a hots for, even though I shouldn't, but it's true. What else? Oh, by the way, just so we get the rules out of the way, I will say this in every rule, or in every video, or live stream, or whatever you want to call this. I have certain rules when I review. Number 1, I will always, if I make some, exceptions, I will only usually do completed stories. Never updated, because you never know if the author is going to get really into the writing. I've had some times where the authors don't complete a story because they just lost their interest, which we usually don't like that, but it happens. I know I've done that before. One of my books I didn't get to finish writing because I couldn't find my scripts, so I could never write it. Number 2, I have a certain amount of pairs that I will not, like, I mainly will read OCX some of the character. Usually it'll probably be a male character because I'm a girl. A girl's got dreams. Guys, you probably can do this. You with the female character. Hello, it's fancy. Happens. But there are certain types of animes or stories where I will not separate one male character from one female character of the pair, which I really like. So here's some of the listings I won't find or probably won't interrupt, which would be Utena Tenjo and Toga Kiryu from Revolutionary Girl Utena. You don't know it, go check it out. It was good. It's an old anime, though. Lena Inverse and Gawa Gabriev from all the Slayer series, Slayer's Premium, Slayer's Gorgeous, yada yada yada. Sana Kurata and Akito Hayama from Kodija. Yada 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 yada. What else? What am I forgetting? What am I forgetting? What am I forgetting? Um, I haven't seen the whole series, but I will not interrupt Lucy X. Not to, however crazy you guys get. Um, uh, um, what am I forgetting? This is hard because I have to remember. I have to try to remember. There's one more on the tip of my tongue. Hmm. Um, Sometimes I won't interrupt Cal Drogo and Daenerys from Game of Thrones, but there are some exceptions if the story gets good and it gets really interesting. And we all know Drogo is really, 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 really freaking hot. Um, I'm not too picky about Ed and Winry though. I can go on and off. It doesn't get to me really. Um, mm, 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 mm. Also in Star Wars, I really wouldn't interrupt Han Solo and um, no, it's not Padme. Medea or whatever her name was. I can't remember. Um, but those two I wouldn't interrupt. Anakin and Padme, I could if I really intended to, but not usually. I think that's probably it. If I have more, I will let you know. Oh, and Hellsing Ultimate, Alucard and Ceres. I'll make exception for Alucard if the stories, again, like I said, if the stories, the OC and Alucard are really good, then I will accept it. It's just me, really. So, um, what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Um, oh, another rule I probably haven't pointed out. I don't do one-shot stories. It's because if you don't know what a one-shot story is, one-shot story is where it's just one whole chapter. That's it. It's pretty short, probably. Sometimes it probably won't be, but I can't read those. And that, and sometimes stories will have Y/N or your name in the writings. I can't handle those. I just need a person's name, not my name or anything like that. It gets confusing to me. It really does. So just letting you know. Those are my rules. I will, again, like I said, say this in every live broadcasting. So please do not hurt me. But as always, comment below if you have a certain story you want me to check out. Like I said, if it follows these rules, I would like that. Or comment below if you agreed and how you felt about the stories. And authors, heck, comment below if you felt I did your story justice by reviewing it. Like I said, I blabber a lot, so yeah. Fair warning for this one. Some of the stories, like I said earlier, I have not gotten to or even had a chance to read, but I have gotten a summary, so be warned. I was a little late on finding stories because, like I said, some stories had extra chapters into it. But enough of my jibber jabber. Let's get started with this review. Starting with a really sexy guy on the cover. I don't know why. I hope my boyfriend's not watching that. Hi, boyfriend. Just kidding. I love you, Dante. As you can't tell, this is a pretty interesting story. It really is. It's the Tattooed Prince, 43 chaptered story, has reached almost 4 million reads. That's a really amazing amount of reads. I love it when there's so many reads. It means people really, really, really love it. It has 93,000 votes. That's probably like almost the highest I've seen. Probably not, but it is by Gladys Vanessa. I might have done a review on one of your stories already. I can't remember. But as I said, it's a completed story. Now, warning again, if you're not over the age of 18, please do not read this book. It's, as always, if you don't know the warnings, the story may contain may contain graphic depictions of violence, sexuality, strong language, and or other mature themes that are not listed in these. But there's more in the guidelines in the content guideline thing. All rights reserved. Please do not copy someone else's story. That is just rude. But yeah, so Tattooed Prince. It personally to me, I really, really loved it. It got really good. Now the Tattooed Prince, if you haven't probably figured out, I don't want to get too deep in like what happens. Hold on a sec. I have to check something on here. Wait, what? Wait, what? Oh no. Weird updating thing. Cameron. My phone don't work for me. Sorry, married, if you haven't figured out, I've done for one of my reviews, I keep getting something on my knee. You know, Married to the Prince of Darkness. It just got updated today. Shoot, I'm really tempted. I'm really tempted. I really tempted one to read it. Okay, sorry. Sorry, it was just updated today. Married to the Prince of Darkness was updated today. Like I said, if you don't remember that story, it was by Angel Twist. Please, all authors, if you or all readers for this book, if you haven't gotten a notification saying it was updated, please totally check it out again because it just got updated. Sorry. Just wanted to let y'all know. Let me first bingo. No, not that. No. I didn't want to read it again. I need story info, please. Thank you. Okay, so as I was saying, Tattooed Prince. Sorry. Again, I'm. So why did my phone? What the frick? Okay. So Tattooed Prince basically is following the story of Adeline, who is living our, like we always think, our boring life. She has a scheduled routine. She lives in a rich life, and parents who are barely ever home. Pretty lonely life, if you ask me. Now, for other teenagers' lives, it would be perfect, but basically to her, it's freaking too boring, and obviously too lonely. So one day, it'll turn into like complete chaos. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Add that to that girl can't resist. Thank you. Ooh. No, wait, yeah. Sorry. Okay, what was I saying? Oh, yep. Sorry. So, one day her life will turn into total chaos. Not Discord chaos, but like legit chaos. And her life will change dramatically. You know that saying, your life changes in a blink of an eye. That's basically her. Now, Sebastian Cortez. Oh, I love that name, Cortez. That's nice. Was born in Spain. Author, I think you spelled Spain wrong in your summary. Just letting you know. But Spain, it says spans. But Spain's royal family all his life, so he's been prepared to take the throne once his father steps down. But there's just one itty bitty problem. Sebastian isn't your normal kind of prince. There's a lot more to him than anyone probably would ever know. So now the big question is, what will happen when these two forces meet and are forced to be married? Um, you have to wonder, can they really deal with each other, especially when one of them is in love with someone else? Now, marriage wouldn't really be their only problem. They would pretty much soon realize they would have to stand together if they don't want to be destroyed. Now, the big also question is, would you be able to do it? You know, be a princess, fight against people that you hate, and more importantly, would you be able to risk it all? I feel like that's song from Sophia the First, Dare to Risk It All. That was sung by Rapunzel to her Sophia's sister. Don't ask how I know that, please. Please don't ask how I know that. I have people I know who, let's just say I have a certain cousin who likes that show, or did. So that's that one. Sorry, I have to keep checking, make sure everything's okay. So, next one. No, that's not a full on crown. That's a crown of grass with a frog. She's a bride. Please do not say, oh, it's the frog princess. Please don't. Or frog prince. Please don't. It gets, I think, more complicated than that. Honestly, I will agree. It does get more complicated. Oh, hell of a lot complicated, I will agree. Hell of a lot. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, sorry. I was also just making sure all my links are, you know, working. Okay, they're all working. Okay. So, sorry. Double checking. You never know with my technology. So, so obviously it's called Frog Meets Girl. I actually really like that title. Interesting. It's a 28 chaptered story. It has almost reached 95,000 reads and has almost reached 2,000 votes. It is by Alice Otter. I like the name, it's adorable. Now, I guess in a way, it could be your typical Frog Prince fairy tale story, but in a way, it kind of goes a little more deeper in some meanings. Now, I don't know who the princess's name was in like Grimm's fairy tale animated classics of the Frog Prince, or it's not Tiana. She's not from the Bayou. Um, whatever. No, her name is Princess Gabriella Persephone Amundin. Amundin. Yeah.
She's looking up your grades.
Mm.
You need to send your physical
Sorry about that. Just let's hold on a moment. I have to do something for schoolwork again. Just give me a couple minutes. It wasn't. Trust me, this was not planned. Just a little. Give me a minute. And yeah, I swear, it's the issue sometimes with teachers or professors. Some technical difficulty appears, and it just kids. Whenever you go to college, be prepared for some problems. It's always one thing. It's always something. Hanky tape. It's always one problem. I'm just really attempting to not check my other grade because I'm scared. Okay, so that's sent out. I actually should have told him when I sent it. Oh well, I'll do it again if he asks. Um, what was I on again? Sorry. This is what happens when you're dealing with school stuff. Something always goes wrong. I swear. That's what happens. Was not playing from a mom pop Ben. What was I saying about the story? Oh yeah. But so there was Princess. I think her name is Almondine Jane. That's her Gabriella Persephone Almondine Jane. It's a long freaking ass name. But she has been angry for about as long as she can ever remember. Now, of course, one day she's by a pond with I think a ball as part of the story. And she drops it. And of course, an icky green tag along starts to mess with her, and it's really going to affect her most of the time. But if you haven't remembered this or haven't heard the story, please look up the Frog Prince or Frog Princess or whatever it's called. It's an old tale classic, but we all have to figure out. We all have to wonder how she'll respond to how she'll respond when her world will be slowly turned upside down in this magical adventure. Through lies, deceits, love, tragedies, all that jazz. It was a really, really roller coaster experience. So next story, next story, next story, next story, next story. Don't know why I did that. Next story is called "Married to the." I almost said the baddest bidder. It's not right. It's not the title. Married to the bidder. Obviously, if you can't tell by the title, someone's getting married to a bidder. If you don't know what a bidder is, you know, people who sell things in the black market and bid on that. That's basically what it's dealing in. And I just really love the cover. Please tell me who did the cover, please. Does it tell us who did the cover? No, it didn't tell us who did the cover. It's a really good cover. It's freaking amazing. Now, I like this one. But Married to the Bitter, it's a 50 chapter story. It has gotten 243,000 reads and almost 8,000 votes. Um, and it is by Dear Hardy. I like the name, it's cute. It's a completed story, of course. And it was published like last year, so that's pretty speedy to finish it up. Now, the good thing is, the most amazing thing is, it's ranked number 50 in the general fiction genre. That's amazing. I love it when people get these, like, just ranked somewhere. Now, in this story, and this is a really good story, this story will follow a girl. Her name is Isabella Blaken, if I'm saying that right. I think I am. Now, she was only there at a certain place for a job, and it was just a normal day for her when suddenly a group of, like, I'm thinking maybe men in black. No. But when a group of men just up and kidnap her. So she doesn't know where she is or what she's going to do until she wakes up in this unfamiliar surroundings. But when finally the blindfold she has that's on her is taken off, and she finally opens her eyes, all she saw basically in one word is it was a nightmare. Why she was a nightmare, or she thought she was, is because she was put up in an auction. Now, on the black market, anything is possibly to be sold. Goods, well, illegal goods, probably drug. No, I don't think so. Stolen artifacts, even slaves, sex slaves, servants, any of that. That's what she was put up as, a slave. Now, in this situation, different random men were bidding actually on her. Thousands turned into millions. Amazing. She must be really pretty. She didn't know really what to do in this situation, but suddenly one guy bought her, you won't believe this, for $50 million. That's a lot of green. Now, and that guy happens to be the one and only Raphael Knight, the cold and cunning billionaire who doesn't know how to be kind at all to anybody. Even just hearing his name makes this girl nervous. But he didn't just only buy her to be a slave. No, he bought her because he needs something from her more than any slave could ever give. And that thing is, Raphael needs her help. And, well, she was timed it perfect. Because, in a way, she needs help as well. But in this situation, she really has no choice but to accept. The one reason why he bought her is because he needs a wife. He needs a wife to prove to his dad and his whole family that he deserves his family's company more than his older brother, who he hates. But that was not really the only reason why he needs a wife. Belle has one problem. How can he actually turn down a hot billionaire like Raphael Knight? I will agree. I don't know how you would be able to say no to a hot billionaire. Now, I'm not there for mainly, if I was in a relationship, I'm not there for money. I don't care, really. I mean, I will care if they can pay rent or something, but I'm not always there just for money. Heck, I have a lot of money, but I don't spend, well, okay, I probably don't have a lot of money. I have about a medium-sized amount, but I don't hardly spend it on stuff that I don't think is relevant, so I know, I'm slow stuff. There's lots of games, there's a lot of cool videos, movies. I don't get out much, so what's the point? I mean, I got a lot of clothes, but I don't hardly go out anywhere. Got a lot of items and stuff that I don't use. Anyway, enough about my whining self. Next story! So here, as you can tell, is the next story. It's called His Choice, This Election. Now, be warned, this the selection. I think there's more than one book by the same author. I think it just follows different points of view from different characters, I think, in a way. I like this one. So there's really actually no first book, second book, third book, really. It's just, I think, different forms of selection, really. It's a 48 chapter story. It has gotten 26,100 reads and 1,200 votes. It's by Finch Finchelov. I hope I'm not stuttering. Now, don't be a fool. I think when it said ongoing, I think it's basically just updating. I don't know. Um, I think it was supposedly done. But maybe they're doing another epilogue or something. I can't remember. But in this story was really good. The story follows a girl named Ember who fills out a form as a joke. And she got picked. What this form was, Prince Charles is looking for a bride or a princess, I guess. It was unexpected when the form for Prince Charles' future bride ended up in her mailbox. Um, in a way, she and her own friends laugh at it, think it was a joke. Finding it funny that the prince, who wasn't the heir to the throne, required selection in order to find someone to marry. But even so, in the end, she just fills out the form, thinking she probably wouldn't get picked. Well, luck's not on her side. She got picked. And so she get rushed up to the palace. Basically, it's a competition, I think. Oh, there's a lot of drama going on. A lot of drama mamas. Man, I will say, Finch Love, that biggest turning point was definitely that one girl who turned out to be not who she really was. And what Charles did to Ember. Charles, you got it. You kind of earned it in a way. See, like here is like book 2. See, Amelia is one of the other girls. So it's like that. So there's another book. But just be warned, if you see that, please be careful, because I don't even really know which one's the first book or the second book or something. So just be warned. Oh, also, if you're a fan of Black is Love, it just got updated. I probably didn't do a review on that, but I hope so. So next story, it is called, you guys are all going to be really happy now. It's called Dragon Blood. It's based on the Game of Thrones. It is the Heroine series. Be warned, if you're not over the age of 18, please do not watch this. This story may contain graphic depictions of violence, sexuality, strong language, and or other mature themes, like Game of Thrones usually does, in a way. So just be warned about that. I'm just on a roll today. Woo! I have finished the story. It is really good. But so Dragon Blood is a 34 chapter story. It has reached 271,000 reads and almost 8,000 votes. It is by Catherine 330, or Catherine 330, personally. It's completed. If you don't know basically what the story will revolve around, is basically OC and Khal Drogo. That's it. Well, probably getting more detailed. Now, this will kind of start back. It'll follow the Daenerys' story, or will follow her, basically. Yeah, it'll follow Daenerys in a way, but I don't think they made Daenerys quite the same as she is in the Game of Thrones, but that's probably because she's not in the main female spot. She's kind of whiny. But we're following this girl instead. Her name is Elena. Eliana, probably, I can't say that right. Now, Eliana Targaryen was the fourth child of the Mad King. If you don't know who the Mad King is, please watch the series. Actually, I'm guilty of that too. I have not. But her brother is kind of following what he did in the original to Daenerys. He sold her to Khal Drogo. Ella doesn't want to marry. Ella is Eliana, but we call her Ella. She doesn't want to marry, especially to a horse lord. That's Khal Drogo. He is a horse lord, or Khaleesi group. Um, all she wants is just to be free from the chains that she's bound to thanks to her brother. But here's the big thing: what if Cal could actually give her that and a whole lot more? Don't worry, what happened to Cal Drogo in the series will not happen. I don't think in the book. Cross your fingers. I can't remember, but yeah. Now in this story, Ella will be tested. Her limits are going to be broken. Her morals will be changed. Because all that is because she's swept in like this extreme lust for the one thing she feared. And of course, lies are obviously going to be told to her from the ones that she really trusts, and love will all obviously be tested again and again. So I'm just gonna say read to find out how innocent and weak um Ella was to become strong and tough. It's a really good story. I really liked it. It was really good and nicely done in writing. Next story. If you can't tell who we're following now, yes, we are gonna follow an imp. Okay, please don't start. Also, I love your avatar. I love him too. Now this, be warned, has 3 books. This one and 2 others. I'm not gonna tell you because the titles will change. But first book is called The Imp, or the Black Dragon, Book 1. That's, you'll figure out soon. It is a 69. Eat your laughs out, please, immature men. Sorry. But it's a 69 chapter story. It has gotten 34,000 reads. And has gotten 2,000 votes. 2,100 if you want to be specific. Now, be warned, this please, if you're not over the age of 18, please do not read this. This story will contain depictions of violence, or graphic depictions of violence, I'm sorry, sexuality, strong language, and/or other sexual mature themes. I know, I have read the first whole book already, and it definitely does have all that. Whew! Then again, Game of Thrones is not for young kids. I will agree. Oh, and it is by Mother of Solos. Nice name. Again, like I said, love the picture. This will follow, I think, the story that involves them. It will follow with Daenerys, of course. I mean, wouldn't. Now, here's a little, here, I'll tell you the full summary because it gets kind of confusing. Now, the Fireborn, they call her. Now, 15-year-old Carissa Martell, she lives with her uncle, Oberyn, and his many daughters. One day, Oberyn had received a letter saying that he is needed at King's Landing and to bring Carissa too. Now, in the beginning, he refuses, saying that they were trying to kill Carrie, but is eventually forced by Doran Martell to go on this journey. Now, they do travel to King's Landing, where Carissa becomes a tutor to Queen Cersei's son. If you don't know who Queen Cersei's son is, that was Tommen. And there, she will meet the infamous Tyrion Lannister, who, if you don't know who Tyrion Lannister is, he's the drunk imp, or dwarf, that has a really great sense of humor. We all know that. Now, when she starts to find things out about her past, she will wish she had never known. Now, and Tyrion will obviously be there to support her, but the big thing is, can she bear the revelation herself? I mean, if you've been kept from something your whole life, obviously it might have been for a really good reason, and it shouldn't have been brought up. But hey, sometimes that's true. I mean, it might be different for some people. Um, oh, be warned, this book starts during season 2 of Game of Thrones. Sorry, my bad. So if you haven't seen the season 2, this is you're gonna get kind of lost. It'll involve, I think, maybe the Purple Wedding, if I'm correct, or Red Wedding, one of those two. Um, it will also, well, I think the second book kind of goes along with Daenerys's area. I can't remember. But like I said, it is amazing. Just amazing. But if you do want to know the other two books, the second book is called The Princess of Mirin. Mirin. And the last book is called The Prince That Was Promised. Now that book it's already reached 9 chapters, the third book. Has just been updated yesterday, so be warned, just let you know. On to the next book. Now, this one, if you haven't remembered, is by Michaela's Heart. If you don't remember, she's the one who wrote Gara's Rose. Mei Mei's Dream is the sequel to Gara's Rose. And I think it's just been updated 2 days ago. It was published back in January 13th, so obviously this year. Now, Mei Mei's Dream currently is at 24 chapters, is reached almost 7,000 reads and 574 votes. People, please vote more. She's a really good writer. So Mei Mei's Dream kind of continues the story of what happens with her and Gara. Um, I really am loving it so far. Michaela's. Now I love this line here. She sprouted like the love like flowers, grew a garden in her mind, and even on the darkest days, from her smile the sun still shined. Aaron Hansen, The Poetic Underground. Really loving the poems there. Now this story will take place 2.5 years, ever since Mei Mei first had stepped foot in Suna, and now the shy girl. We all know she's shy. Love the cover, by the way. Michaela's Heart. It's adorable. Now, this shy girl is living much happier than she really ever thought she would ever be in her whole life. Now, and her friends and family, both old and new, are now settling down around her and raising their own families. Now, but Mimi's dream of starting a family will remain unfulfilled, and pretty much a big new threat will jeopardize the chance of it actually coming true. To top it off, though, Maybe keeps feeling as if wherever she goes, she's being followed or watched. But she keeps it to herself, like she's keeping it in her shell. Now, the only big question is, could her keeping it to herself be a grave mistake or a blessing in disguise? Who knows? But somewhere hidden in the shadows, the Watcher waits for her chance to strike. I was surprised, Michaela's, who the Watcher was. I mean, I thought that incident happened. I didn't think she survived. Dang. Obviously something happened that I didn't know. But it's really good. It's getting really juicy. Especially that little surprise Meme gave Gato. Oh, cute. Oh. Okay, next. Now this is there's 2 books. There's only 2 books. It hasn't continued on, but that's just me. Trying to pull up my phone. Now the first book is The Prince and the Duke, book 1. This is only 11 chapters. It's gotten, though, 982,000 reads and almost 17,000 votes. It's by Green Rider. I like the name. It's cute. Now, this story will follow a girl whose name is Joanna. Not Sweeney Todd, please. Now, Joanna is the only daughter of a duke, the Duke of Denmark. I love the story, by the way, Green Rider. It was really good. Now, and Joanna got her way when she was granted with her wish to lead a normal life. Go to high school, get her degree in college, find a man for herself. Now living in Washington and now in junior high school, no one knows who she really is except her two best friends. But here's the catch. Her so-called normal life will be put in jeopardy when her mother suddenly appears at school to announce her marriage to the Prince of Denmark. Shocker! Yes, it is just an 11-part story, but all of those 11 parts are really good. The 11 parts are more longer, so it I like that kind of style. It works really well with it. Okay, now this is the one where I said it's still ongoing, and I really, really want this to continue because I really like it. Um, Now this is the only, I think, only Assassin's Creed story I found. It's hard to find Assassin's Creed story with romance in it, especially for this one guy. If you can't tell who, please look at the picture closely. Now, this story is called Breaking the Creed. It is based on the Assassin's Creed fanfiction. Um, it's currently now at 29 chapters. It's reached almost 28,000 raids and 619 votes. It is by X Dreaming Out Loud. I love the name. That's interesting. Now, this will follow Ratonhake or Connor. If you haven't seen Assassin's Creed 3, please watch a gameplay with no commentary. I may help you find those links. Now, not only was he born, but another assassin was of the same village was also born. Her name was, please don't mock this, Canada. And she was born into the Canaan or Keka family, Keka people. Her father, Odintani, was the village's warrior, and her mother, an African American woman by the name of Mandiza. Mandiza, I think is how you say it. Um, Now, this will kind of follow the Assassin's Creed storyline in a way. Now, the night Connor's mother is dead in the vast fire set by Charles Lee and his men, and Canada's mother is suspected to have been killed also. And together, well, Connor and Canada, they are raised by their people and Canada's father. And later in their lives, the clan mother brings light upon both Connor and Canada's destinies by first telling Canada to go with Connor to be mentored by a man that goes by the name of Achilles. And it's during this time that truth will be finally brought to life, and Canada obtains a pretty unlikely mentor. Now, once Connor and Canada's training has been complete, they both will set off to find the man who is suspected of killing Connor's mother. And their paths separate greatly as she becomes more involved with those that Connor has to kill. Now, it's here in the British America during like the times of revolution, like where Canada's feelings and her life will really be thrown in like a big battlefield of hatred, revenge, lust, and of course spirit, where her oath is to the creed is to and will become weakened, and where she'll also find love under very unlikely circumstances that could crush Connor's trust in her. And after all, basically, what do you expect when you're thrown into the life of the Grand Master of the Colonial Templars and considered by him to be the only other woman to ever stir his soul? If you haven't figured that out, who we're talking about here, shame on you. I really, really like this story. Now, this and the others following are ones I hadn't gotten to read yet. Like I said, well, I'm slow. I really am. But I saw a little bit of it, and it is good. So, like I said, I made exceptions for some stories. first let me well, find this said stories on here if I could. Hey, Mamma Mia. Let's see. And where are you? Bingo. So this story is called Anakin Skywalker's Return, Book 1. Now, I like this one because it got a Waddy's 2015 award here, or was entered in the Waddy's 2015. It's not long, it's only 19 chapters, but it has gotten almost 41,000 reads and almost 2,000 votes. It's by Skywalker 15. I really found this interesting. Now, we all know Anakin Skywalker and him being the chosen one had destroyed the Jedi. Now he returned to the dark side. He's now a Sith, and he's basically the very thing he swore to destroy. Now here's the question: what if Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't dismember Anakin with his lightsaber in the duel of Mustafar? And what if Anakin Skywalker turned back to the light side after Padme had the twins? And another what if Anakin never ended up in that black suit that gave him the Darth Vader identity? Then, what if something happened that nobody ever expected occurred? Basically, the story is the story of Anakin Skywalker after he turned to the dark side and then came back to the light side. But I find it kind of cool. I mean, that's a lot of what ifs. I mean, yeah, we all wonder about like what would have happened if Anakin had returned back to the light side. We all wonder that. I like wondering that because it's true. We don't know what would have happened. Maybe. Like I said, it's only book 1. Who knows what happens? Next story, we're almost done, people, is called The Female Jedi, and it's another Anakin Skywalker romance book. It is a 54-chapter story. It has gotten 142,000 reads and almost 7,000 votes. It is by Admiring Reigns. Again, completed is book 1 of the Female Jedi series. Now, number 1, that's the Female Jedi, is under Anakin Skywalker, and it's been 4 years since Padme was killed. Ever since a piece of Anakin was basically left empty. That is until he met Almeda. Now, as Almeda was assigned as Anakin's Padawan, he was beginning to realize how much she actually understands him and what he's been through. And in a way, it kind of helped him fall in love with her, in a way. This is kind of their story to how that happened. It's not much detail in the summary, but if you read it, you will possibly figure out what happens. Next story is the Star Wars: A Reflection from the Past. It is a 13-chapter story. It has almost reached 30,000 reads and has 961 votes. It is by Padme Skywalker. Love the name, by the way. Now, a reflection from the past is basically saying, like, what would have happened if Padme, instead of twins, had triplets? Layla, who Padme and Anakin's other daughter, was raised by the Dark Lord, or Lord Vader, to become a Sith since she was 14 years old. But will she still become the greatest Sith, or will she betray the Lord, Darth Vader, to become something on the light side and rebel against them and join the Rebel Alliance? Basically, it's just asking that. Like I said, another what if situation, which is a good thing. Next one is called Star Wars: The Chosen One, an Anakin Skywalker story. It's completed. It is a 41-chapter story. It has almost reached 71,000 reads and almost 3,000 votes. It's by These Infinities. Now, in this situation, the Galactic Republic is in very grave danger, and since the dramatic death of the Supreme Chancellor Palpatine, the Senate believed that the Republic was in no harm of being overthrown. Therefore, the Council had granted young Anakin Skywalker to the rank of Master, and henceforth he is given the task of training a powerful female Padawan who belongs to the other half of his chosen one prophecy, while also managing to parent his newborn child. Now, Anakin believes he is now at peace with the Republic, the Jedi, and of course the light side of the Force. But it'll start to become apparent that his new Padawan is on a different path, and this will cause the Galactic Senate to find themselves like face to face with sheer brutality unlike anything they've ever imagined or experienced before. I find this really interesting. I really do. Next one, we're almost there. The next story is called The Star. It's book 1 in the Tachi series. It was entered in the Waddies 2014. It's a 36 chapter story. It has reached 45,200 reads and almost 2,000 votes. It is by Aaron Foster. It's completed. Now, The Star follows Henny Lay, who is a former slave and female Jedi Knight known as the Star. And she's taught by Master Shakti and was brought in by Master Qui-Gon Jinn. Her best friend in this situation is Obi-Wan Kenobi, but secretly Obi-Wan has feelings for her, and they're more than just as friends. Henne gives him something to love, to cherish, and to fight for. And in that, he will keep fighting in the wars, well, the Star Wars to be exact. And that story just continues on. The second book is called Enslaved, and I think the third book is called Assassin? Probably is, probably not. I can't remember. Next. Last story in our review is called Star Wars Demolition Resurgence B1. It's a 55 chapter story. It's reached 29,400 reads and has 886 votes. It's by PonyLever_Games, games with a Z at the end. Again, like I said, it's a Star Wars story. It'll follow Hazel Elson, who was always one with the Force, and was always ready for action, but when her parents suddenly die, her sister and brother must train her. I'm suspecting her older sister and brother train her. That is until one day she is recruited by the Jedis. And once she was recruited, she starts to fall in love with Qui-Gon Jinn's Padawan, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, the big thing is what happens when she gains feelings for him, and he also gains those feelings for her back. Also, the artist, she states, is Stars versus Chocolates. It's a really good job, too. It's under editing, but it is complete. So I think that is it. I have a lot of hopes for our authors. I really am excited to read these stories. I cannot wait. But sadly, that's it for this video. I hope all my reviewing has given you some good views on some of these stories. If you want read these stories, you can look up on Wattpad.com, or you can download the app in your local store, your app store. It's free. You can sign up, and you can save up to a lot of stories. They're amazing. So yeah. Also, be sure to follow these authors if you are on Wattpad, and give them some credit, give them some feedback, how you feel about some of their stories and their works. Because we all are family around here. So that's it. I hope you guys loved this video. I will be doing another one. next Sunday with another. We're going to return back to 10 because I have officially caught up. So now it's just back to 10 each Sunday. I hope you like this video. If you do, get a big thumbs up. Comment below, authors, if you have sequels that you want to talk about or want me to do a future review on. Also, people down below, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button because I do these reviews now every Sunday at 8:30 to 9. Well, on my side it is. And it's always a pleasure. Also, comment below if you have any stories you want me to check out that I should talk about, and also comment below how you feel on these stories. Like I said, everybody loves comments. I love comments. Authors love comments. You love comments too. Anyway, so your girl Flarity here. She's out. Bye.